Hey everybody, welcome to another show of Capital K9s here in the greater Baton Rouge, Louisiana area. Today we are going to, this is so awesome, today I'm going to take you to the LSU School of Veterinary Medicine, one of the best in the country. I'm sitting out here in the yard today. I do my own dog treats. I dehydrate apples, bananas, sweet potatoes, cow liver. For those of you who've not yet met, this is Nico. She's the newest member of our family, and Nico got adopted from Lucky Dog Lodge. My great friends there, we love Lucky Dog Lodge. Best pet daycare in the area, hands down. And I get no compensation from them to say this. Let's go see Dr. Nancy over at LSU Veterinary Medical School. Hey, we're here at the LSU Veterinary School of Medicine with Dr. Nancy Welborn, who's going to very graciously give us this interview, and I'm very excited to be here. This is like, having this school in my town is a really cool thing, and I keep hearing it's one of the better schools, one of the better veterinary schools in the country.
We think it is.
Yeah, but it's LSU. It's better than everybody. So let me go ahead and introduce yourself and what your position is here, and just give people a little brief about who you are.
Sure. Well, thank you for inviting me to do this. I appreciate that. My name is Nancy Wlborn. I am an LSU graduate. I went to undergrad here and then LSU Vet School, and I graduated in 1990. After I graduated, I actually lived in Knoxville, Tennessee for 23 years and did private practice. Did a little bit different things. I was in a mixed practice and did beef cattle for a bit. For 10 years, I did emergency critical care on the small animal side. And then my last part of the career has just been small animal, both in private practice. And then I came back to LSU about 12 years ago now, and was hired to actually start and develop the community practice service that's within the vet school. And so that's what I do now. And the community practice is basically teaching primary care practice to our clinical fourth-year veterinary students. So we run a vet clinic within the vet school doing primary care. So it's basically a vet clinic within the vet school, and the students basically run it and do all the things that general practitioners do out in practice.
I noticed on one of the signs downstairs that this was established in 1968.
Yes.
Is that right? I was 8 years old. Mm-hmm. Lord, I feel old. How many students do you think you have here?
So right now we have 4 classes of students. Vet school's 4 years long. Mm-hmm. Our first year class has 200 students. In our fourth year class right now, we have both LSU students, and we take in students from Ross and St. George and some other schools. So in clinics, we average about 200 students as well. So that's our goal, is to have 200 students consistently in every class.
Oh, cool.
We're our class size is one of the larger ones in the country right now.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh. We're going to address some things for new dog owners.
Sure.
People thinking about getting a dog. So when they go, if somebody wants to go to a breeder somewhere and get a puppy out of a litter, I know as a trainer, there's a lot of socialization and stuff they have to learn in the litter that they won't learn, or if they do learn outside the litter, it's way more difficult.
Correct.
How old should those puppies be before they're taken out of that litter?
So behaviorists recommend, that's a great question. Behaviorists recommend that the best time for the puppy to leave the litter setting and go so it can connect into its new home is between 7 to 8 weeks of age. The socialization time period for dogs is anywhere from 7 to about 16 weeks of age. And when you think about that, that's a really short time frame for them to learn the world. And so it's really important for them to move to their new home and start developing those connections with the new owner, the new home, and then learn what the world is, all the environment that's important for them.
Mm-hmm. Now, when they bring home their puppy, there's going to be potty training and
Yes.
basic training. But then when you get an older dog, you still have to do potty training, because
Right.
potty training is for your house, not everywhere. You got to generalize that training.
Right.
So when somebody brings home a puppy or an older dog, I was always taught as a trainer, there's this rule of threes: 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. You give them 3 days to get, if they don't come out of their kennel for 3 days, don't panic. Just give them 3 days to get used to sneaking around, 3 weeks to really get comfortable in the house, and then 3 months before you really see their personality come out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, I don't know if there's a specific time frame, but a lot of adopters say that anywhere, I think that 3 months is a good minimum time frame, 3 to 6 months, to really allow an animal to adjust to its new environment. Because if you think of the adult animal who is removed from a home, goes into a shelter situation, foster situation, that's a new environment, and then they get moved again, and then they get moved again. That's a really confusing thing for them. So
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing people need to understand, is they have to have patience. And we have no idea what happened in that dog's background or previous history. So we need to just give them time, like you said, let them show what their personality is, see what they know. Patience is the biggest thing with them. I mean, we expect our human babies, it takes them a long time to develop and learn all their skills, but then we expect a dog to learn it in a week, and that's just unreasonable. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, when somebody does get a dog home, puppy or a grown dog, how soon should they get it to their vet? For a puppy, how old should a puppy be before its first veterinary visit?
Well, we should see the puppy pretty soon after getting it, just to establish that puppy, and then get a good baseline physical exam, look at the vaccination history, deworming history, and then from there we can map out what needs to be done next. So vaccinations, I don't know if you're going to ask a lot of questions about this, but vaccinations start at about 7 weeks of age and go through about 16 weeks of age. So there's a lot of things that can be discussed at that first visit. So it doesn't have to be done that day, because that's a big change in that puppy's life, but it should be done pretty quickly.
And they're expensive. I know when I got Nico, I had some other unexpected repair expenses come up, and she was really due for all of her annual shots. And I spread that out over about 4 weeks, just for the affordability. But if I had the money, they could have given it all. We're talking about the regular, the
DA2P.
DA2P.
Correct.
That's a combination of several vaccines.
Yes.
And then there's the heartworms. And then there's like once a month medication for parasites.
We have options for that. So there's a lot of different options now for heartworm prevention, for other parasite prevention. There's newer stuff coming out all the time. But regardless, dogs should be on protection for that annually. So there's monthly things, there's every 3 months, there's injections for heartworms that last either 6 months or a year.
I do the year with my dog.
I do too, personally. There's a newer product, it's an injectable that lasts 12 months for fleas and ticks. So there's a lot of newer things coming out. And when we talk with owners, we just sit down, and certainly economics is one of the things so that it's a decision making, but the biggest thing for me is what makes sense in their lifestyle. What are they going to remember to do? What makes sense with the dog? And what does the dog need, first of all?
Right.
So where we live, every dog needs to be on heartworm prevention. But other than that, we just have a discussion with the owner and figure out what they need. And then going back to the economics of it, when we first meet new puppy owners, we have a serious discussion about pet insurance. And I'm a huge fan. There's a huge breadth of what's offered with pet insurance, and you can get either major medical or full-on wellness. And it depends on how much you want to spend with that also. But we have a lot of clients who use pet insurance and it pays for everything. Now you're out of pocket paying for the insurance, but over time, I think you can sit down and figure out what is beneficial. So that's something that owners can absolutely consider.
Right. And down here in South Louisiana, and I guess it's true for everywhere, since we have big mosquito problems. And if you've got mosquitoes, if you've got fleas, ticks, they're going to spread the parasites. That's where the heartworms and stuff come from. Right?
Yes, so, from mosquitoes. So
when we talk about the monthly parasite, that's something that goes into their system that keeps all those parasites off of them so they don't...
Either off or treats them. If they are exposed to them, it'll treat them monthly.
Okay. I wasn't sure exactly how that works, but okay.
Yeah, it depends on the parasite and it depends on the drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's an annual healthcare cost for owning a dog.
Yes.
And let's face it, it's not cheap. Plus if your dog gets into trouble. But yeah, people need to be ready to spend money on that healthcare. You don't want to skip it. If you skip it, your dog's going to get sick.
Yeah.
You're going to end up paying.
Yeah, our goal is preventive care. So if we can keep our pets healthy, hopefully they're not going to have something bad happen. And also that's the reason for the annual exam is we're going to see them every year and do the things that we need to do. And if something's starting to happen, maybe we can stop it there or address it and start managing it with either nutrition or something else so it won't get really bad. Yeah.
And I want to mention for people watching that heartworms are horrible for a pet. They're imagine spaghetti going through the heart. The valves can't close all the way. It's a painful, torturous way for an animal to die.
It is. An adult heartworm can be 12 to 14 inches long.
Man, and that's just, get the heartworms taken care of. Get them checked annually. That's so important. I cannot stress that enough. Let's switch gears a little. Exercise for a dog. If I put my dog on a leash and go walk around the block or walk around a park just at my pace, or even if I'm doing a brisk exercise walk, is that really exercise for the dog?
Absolutely.
That really does give it, because I've had people tell me that's not exercise. They got to run across a field a dozen times.
Well, I mean, if you go to your own doctor and your doctor says walking around the block is exercise for you, the dogs and cats, we're not talking about cats today, but dogs work the same. So it's good for their muscle tone, it's good for their heart rate. So any exercise like that is appropriate. But we also have to think, what is the age of the dog? What's the health status of the dog? If it's an older dog, that's probably amazing exercise for that dog. If it's a 2-year-old, German Shepherd or Labrador that's really energetic, maybe running would be better for him. But any exercise is a positive thing for them.
Once a week, there's a lake I take them to, and I've got the little retrieval toys that hunters use I just throw them out and they go out, bring them back.
Yeah.
And we just do that until they're exhausted. And I figure that the swimming is good exercise, I understand.
Oh, that's amazing exercise. Yeah, it's low impact exercise. Where we live, though, and I always remind people, if you want to go walk, that's great. But if it's July or August, don't do it at noon because it's too hot. The pavement's hot. It's dangerous for us to be out there. It's dangerous for the pets as well.
They'll get heat stroke just like we would.
They can. They can burn their pads on the pavement. So if it's hot for us, it's hot for them.
Yeah. Speaking of exercise, obesity. I understand we have an obesity problem, not with just people, but our pets.
Yes, we do.
There's an epidemic with pets becoming obese because we just, especially down here, we love our food so much.
Yeah, food is love.
A healthy dog, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't necessarily have to see the ribs, but if I go to feel the ribs, I need to actually feel ribs and not just this layer of stuff on top of ribs.
Correct. You should be able to easily feel them, like you said, but not see them. But even if you don't put hands on the dog, they should have a waist when you look at them from on top and from the side. And so we body condition score dogs and from 1 to 9. 5 is perfect. 1 is very, very thin. 9 is very, very round. We don't want a 9. So our goal, I'm happy if they're in the 5 to 6 range. Even a 4 is okay. That's a little lean. But yeah, so you can just look at them, but the really fluffy dogs, that's hard. That's when you put your hands on them.
Right.
So you should be able to feel the spine. You should be able to feel the ribs easily. If you have to push really hard, they're probably just a little overweight. And there's body condition scoring charts that are available online. All pet food companies have them, and if you Google body condition score, they have great visuals, and they're step by step. Anybody can pull it up, and they got pictures. This is this, so anybody can get that information so they can compare their pet. And we body condition score every patient when they come in to see us. That's part of our medical record.
Kibble versus cooked fresh versus raw fresh. I guess that's the three things people are feeding their dog. There's this big...
Yes, and that's a great question. So I will first say, if people want to cook for their pet, that's admirable, and they can absolutely do it, but they have to follow recipes that are developed by a boarded veterinary nutritionist. You cannot get a good balanced recipe online because your dog is not the dog down the street or another dog down the street, especially if your dog has health issues that have to be addressed. And there are nutritionists out there who do that. Probably half the vet schools in the country have nutritionists on site and have nutrition centers. We unfortunately are one of the vet schools who do not have a nutritionist. But the schools that do have them, you can contact them online and they will start working with you. Because if you just say, I want to cook for my dog and I'm going to feed it chicken or whatever, you're going to make a food that's nutritionally incomplete, usually with the micronutrients and vitamins. And then your dog's going to become deficient over time. So if you want to cook, great, and I will sit down and talk to you about it and say, this is what we need to do, and here we go. And I've had a lot of clients do it, and they do a great job. It's expensive. It costs more than buying food, and it takes a lot of time, but people who do it, more power to them.
Right.
Because they know what's going into their dog. They know they're in control of all those ingredients, and I think that's great. Raw diets, not recommended. The biggest risk is of zoonotic diseases, bacterial diseases that are in that raw meat, basically, that are bad for the dog and can make you sick as well. And so that's the biggest risk. The second biggest problem is they're not balanced nutritionally for that dog. Dogs are omnivores, which means they have to eat meat, protein, but they have to have plant material as well. They have to get nutrition from both sides. And purists who feed raw diets, it's usually meat and bone, and they don't feed the plant side of things. So the nutritionally imbalance is the biggest thing, or second biggest. Number one for me is the risk of getting sick.
Yeah.
And dogs, we know they eat and then they groom. And so, they walk around your house and they can track all that stuff everywhere. So healthy people, usually not a big deal. But if you have a young person, old person, immunocompromised person, that's a huge risk for them. So it is absolutely not recommended to feed raw.
And I'm going to be doing a episode very soon on kibble.
Yeah, and reading food labels is frustrating, even for people who have a nutrition background. You really need to understand what the label's telling you. And how ingredients are listed doesn't really mean that much because the food companies can tweak that. And I think marketing has made people think that some things are bad when they're really not. So really looking at the guaranteed analysis is more important. And if you don't know what dogs should have versus what's on the bag, it can get confusing. The biggest thing with a lot of what I call the more small batch foods or things like that, a lot of those are vitamin deficient and have too much calcium and phosphorus in them. And so when I look at a food, I first make sure it's actually labeled to feed the age that it's supposed to be feeding. For example, all life stage diets, that's puppy food. And 12-year-old dog doesn't need to be eating puppy food. It has too much calories, too much fat, and the calcium phosphorus is too high. So they need to eat the life stage that they are. So I always check that first. And that even sometimes is hard to find on the food bag.
Right.
And then I check the vitamin, mineral content, and then I check a couple other things. Protein doesn't bother me so much because most of them are always around the same protein range. And more protein isn't always a good thing. A lot of people say, oh, protein's good, I'm going to feed 50%. 50% is actually too much for all dogs, except puppies. So.
Okay, we've got the martingale, which is just a slip that can choke. We've got prong collars, have the little, hopefully rounded edge prongs, and then we've just got the regular leather or nylon, whatever, flat collar. That's what it's called. And then there's the e-collars. And there's been, I've seen people get in debates about, well, vets see injuries from prong collars all the time, and I'm not really sure that's true.
I do.
You do? So it is true that people do. So people do cause injuries with prong collars and stuff. Huh?
Yes. And behaviorists, going back to that, I don't recommend them because what those collars are doing is actually the way they're getting the dog's attention is by inducing pain. And the pain's getting the dog's attention, but the dog's not in a learning moment for that. It's fear-based training, and so that's a negative feedback response. And what we should be doing, which I know you're aware because you've trained dogs, we should be teaching with positive reinforcement. And so what the fear-based training actually does is make them more fearful and can make a small fear-based behavior worse over time. And so any kind of shock collar, e-collar, or prong collar is now really not recommended for use. And it is sometimes difficult in dogs. Maybe you had one who had issues already and they're very hard to get their attention. It's just we've got to get a little bit more creative with that one individual. How do we work around that to help them, one, be more comfortable and in the moment, to be accepting of that this behavior, we need to maybe fix that a little bit, but let's work on this other behavior a little bit better. Patience is the biggest thing. That's my
number one thing with my clients and dog training is I've got to teach them patience. What would you tell if there's somebody out there, some young adults out there, young kids, high school kids, whatever, young adults, I guess, who are considering or maybe haven't considered going into a career in veterinary medicine, what would you tell them?
Oh, wow. That's a very broad question. So I applaud them and I say it's a great career and it's a great profession. I think first they have to have a strong interest in a lot of categories of study. So they have to be good in the sciences, because that's what it is. They have to, I don't even know how to phrase this. It is a great career. It's long hours. It's hard work. It's not just working with animals. It's also working with people. Half of my job is working with people because the animals don't talk. You have to talk to the client. A lot of it is emotional. So some days are really stressful. Some days are really hard. But I can't imagine doing any other job than what I do now. And I have the best job here because I get to do the job that I love, but I also get to help teach the up and coming people and seeing the amazing people that we're making to move forward. So I would tell them to reach out and find a local vet and go talk to them. Get some experience, see what veterinary medicine is, because I think a lot of them read a book or see a TV show, but they need to get in the trenches, get down and dirty, see what a day-to-day life looks like.
Dog daycare.
Yeah, go to doggy daycare, go to the shelter, go volunteer there. Just get some
the shelter.
animal experience and see what the world really is and what it has to offer. Because veterinary medicine is very broad, and you can do a lot of things with that degree. Just get some good exposure. And if they have questions, reach out and ask. I mean, all of us, we're very proud of what we do. And I think all of us are super happy to talk to people and say, look how cool this is. And we'd be happy to help them.
Thank you so much. Any final closing words you want to give people, or do you think we've said everything we need to say?
If you ever have a question about your dog, call your vet.
Call your vet. Trust your vet. I trust
your
my
veterinarian.
Vet. Like I said, I go to Anderman Animal Clinic in Gonzales, and I love them to death.
Yeah,
and they're
great.
They have treated 4 dogs so far for me, and they've just been the best, and they're all from here. They all graduated from here.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, we're here to help, and we love educating, and I mean, that's why we're here. So we tell our clients all the time, just please call us. And my technicians, my nurses are amazing, and they actually answer the majority of the questions that people call, and most practices are like that. So we have a lot of really smart, really amazing people that work in this profession.
Kids, think about being a vet. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
That's it for this episode. We're going to be bringing you more content more often now, and we'll see you soon. Remember, our dogs are family.